Hi, everyone. Uh, it's such an experience. It's been 2 years. I've, addressed anything apart from my people at office or at home. It's a thank you for everyone to be here. Uh, where can I see my presentation? I can see it over there. Uh, I think it was a very interesting conversation which just happened. I think what I'm trying to do over here is actually a follow-on to that. When we were talking about experiences, we'll talk about experiences of customers online and what is the right investment. Maybe it is not money, but it's about changes, it's about technology, and how that will impact your customers' experience who are buying online. So let's start. Uh, Everybody knows that the whole online business for D2C, the new brands going online first, and offline brands going online, it's a huge opportunity. It's pegged around $13 billion right now, and it's targeted around $99 billion by 2026, which is obviously makes it a very, 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 very big market. Uh, these are some of the brands who have done a good job at it, maybe at some initial stages, and some of them are very, very scaled in this business. Now, coming to what the whole agenda for this conference, which I am trying to put together for this topic, is that most of the problems around generating demand, having the customer on your website, the technology around the front end is kind of solved today. The problem starts when the customer lands on that product page. And I have a very interesting experience that I want to share over here. Now, we've been in the business for the last almost 10 years. I was talking to a customer of mine, a very good friend also now. So it's a large D2C brand now who's been scaling. And this brand is in the personal care category. He invests money in advertising to the customers who come on Facebook, who come on Google, who come on Instagram, look at their product, lands on the website, buys the product. And the challenge there was, we were talking and he was telling me that these customers are not coming back for a repeat purchase. I said, why? And he did a little bit of understanding of why these customers were not coming in. And quite interestingly, these customers saying that we like your product, it's fantastic. We are buying your product, but we're not buying it from your website. I'm going to a different large marketplace and doing the repurchase over there. I said, that's bad because I spent money acquiring this customer, bringing him onto my brand, and he's purchasing the next time from a different website. Now, the question was why? And that was the most important thing. We were talking and said, like, is it a trust issue? I said, absolutely not, because the customer has already bought once. He liked the product. Is it a pricing issue? I said, absolutely not. Actually, I'm giving some goodies with my product, which is not there. So what else it can be? So it came down to a very simple thing. The customer would say that I come to your website, but you show me a promise of getting the shipment in 5 days, 7 days, etc. You're not delivering to me next day, which this large marketplace is able to do. My address is saved. I don't have to pull my address. I don't have to put my payment details. I am stick on to their checkout. I don't want to change this experience by going to your D2C website and do this. That was the major issue. And if I put that in perspectives of some numbers, what customers today face, there about 20% of all cash on delivery orders do not get converted into an actual purchase, which is a top line and bottom line impact on any brand. 7 days, it's an average of 7 days what it takes for an order to get delivered by D2C brands today, which can be very different for a large marketplace which has replicated the inventory properly. 39%, and we found this, that customers will not repeat because they did not have a particular post-purchase experience that they were looking for. And 90% of our customers, or anybody who is shipping from one location, is actually spending more money than they should to actually make a transaction. Large amount of money going into forward deliveries, RTOs, etc. So I'll move on to for that. And so what we are trying to do, we're also evolving as a company, and what we are envisioning ourselves as, and what we're envisioning the market as, is that there is a need for this post-purchase operating system, which from the time the customer lands onto that product page, once he lands on that website, to the time he actually wants to return the product, the experience of even the return has to be managed by this one system. At least it's linking different systems together, or it's one system, it depends, but it's one system which can do everything. So this is what it looks like. He was not happy in the first slide, he's happy now when everything is streamlined together. But we'll talk about this in further detail as we go about it. So what I've done is I've put together a user journey for all of you. How typically the user journey should look like from our eyes. And I would love questions if anybody has by the end of this presentation, specifically around this. So when the customer lands, so what happens today, right? He lands, you showed a Facebook ad, you showed him an Instagram ad or a Google ad. Now the customer lands onto this page, which is the product page, where he can see the product details, he can see the product picture. But today, most of the brands or most of the D2C websites would show delivery timelines as 5 to 7 days. There is no particular promise, and this impacts conversion drastically. Today, the conversion from running a Facebook ad to actually a purchase is around 3.5% to 5%. And that is where the money has to be made. The conversion has to go up. And this is where I think some of the things that we are trying to do is if you can replicate your inventory across the country, and there's more about replication because you can use the same inventory going offline, same inventory going online, same inventory going to marketplaces. Now today there's no system in place who can tell you what inventory to keep where and how much time, how much time for this particular order can be reduced. So typically I would want that if I'm placing an order at 2 a.m. at night sometime, I should be able to get the shipment tomorrow morning in the same city at noon of the same day. This is what the experience has to come to. And trust me, it's not difficult. We've done this before. Now, let's move forward. The customer moves on to the next page, which is the checkout page. Typically, what you would want to do is that he doesn't have to put his address. He just has to pre-fill, he has to get the pre-filled information of his address. He can choose. So what happens on a Zomato, what happens on a Swiggy. He picks up on one of those addresses and then checks out. That is an experience that the customer is looking for. The customer should also, and this is also, if anybody runs a website over here will understand, there are different, you can pay differently for different speeds. But today you don't have that capability to charge a customer or have the option for the customer to select one of the most, which is the one which is fast or which is small, which is fast or which will take more time. So you could actually charge more money for this. And this is a monetization and giving choice to the customer. Payment options, right? And this is also very important. Today, checkouts are not that intelligent. It's a checkout which is a part of your cart. It cannot show payment methods based on what customer it understands it is. For example, if I am not a good customer, I land up on a website which Puma runs, and I'm buying a shoe, and I know that I will not accept the COD order, I should not get the COD payment method. And with us, and we are very confident we can do it because we've running this business for some time. We've been able to touch base with 60 million users, and we about 2.5 lakh orders a day. Gives us that capability to understand which customer is a good customer or a bad customer, only for the COD payment method. Once they've checked out, then the whole experience of post, now he's checked out and he's placed an order. Now, there are several things which happen now. They want to know where their order is. A lot of time and effort and money is spent supporting the customer. How about having a bot there who can just tell you, he can say, where is my order? The order is coming in 2 days. The order is coming tomorrow, whatever. So that communication is very, very important. The same WhatsApp bot that we have built can be further utilized to put offers out, convert COD orders, and there are a lot of last mile issues which happen. Some addresses are changing, somebody wants to change the date of delivery. All those things can happen on the bot, and that reduces the cost of your customer support drastically and improves the customer experience immensely, right? So I think this is very, very important once the customer has checked out, because he's waiting for his product. This is the stage where he is, getting worried. Where is my order? Now, one last thing that I would want to say is, today, the experience of customer tracking their order once they made the purchases is also broken. The customer would land up on a Web 1.0 kind of a website of a courier partner, which is not that great. This is not a brand experience that you're giving to the customer. How about they land onto a page like this, where they have a logo of yours, you can remarket your product, you can go back to your website, you can capture NPS, etc. So this is a very different experience for the customer. He's not landing on a logistics company's website, which might not be supportive of the change in experience from your website to their website. And this can be used for, also one thing which is important is easy returns. Capability of giving the customer the easy returns, the way you've given it to them in the store is very, very important for this business. And this is also something which we try and enable. This is all the front-end jargon, right? And we were talking about supply chain. There are a lot of things which are happening on the back end. There are a lot of ops guys who are working really, really hard to make this experience happen. And the product's real heart lies over here is how can you have an OMS, an LMS, which has the capability to show you the right workflow, show you the right analytics, show you where your orders are, what are you behind, what are you are meeting, what targets are you meeting, etc. And this comes from a lot of experience, is that there are a lot of, when you run e-commerce operations or e-commerce logistics operations, there are these need of these essential workflows, non-delivery of an order, basic analytics around where your order is, COD reconciliation, there's something called weight reconciliation, reconciliating your invoices, orders, freight, everything has to be done in a particular one platform that you need to do this. Today is broken between a lot of different platforms and Excel files. Capability of doing this in one platform is also, which is essentially important for the industry. So the real value over here is how can anybody build this operating system for a brand to be able to bring these together for a customer. What we've tried to do is we have built upon different platforms like Fulfillment, Engage is the CRM over here. The Checkout is the product that I showed you. Global is getting your orders to a global market, cross-border trade. Capital is helping the customer, the sellers get more money to be able to run their operations. Insurance is also insuring your goods which are shipping out. So between these and many more to come, the viewpoint over here is how can one build an operating system end to end for an e-commerce brand or a D2C brand to be able to run a successful operation and give that customer experience that the customer is looking for. Or because the customer has already formed an experience through the large marketplaces, not naming a particular one over here. Leave you with some of the numbers. I don't know, it might not be that important, but the kind of sellers we work with, the serviceability that we have, number of partners we work with, number of fulfillment centers, that's 8, that's a little less. We are in 13 fulfillment centers. We are able to get you to 1 to 2 day deliveries, all those things. So this is what we are. I would love to answer any questions that anybody would have at this point of time.